South Carolina. That's Charlene Anderson. Sharif, LA. These are going to go quick. I knew that was going to happen. Luciano. Tammy D from Cleveland, Ohio. Elvis, Georgia. Ryan is in Nottingham, New Hampshire, I think that is. Cool. Yannick from Quebec, Canada, in the building. Kip, St. Louis. Hassan, Quebec as well. Who else we got in here? Angel from Miami. Dan Harkoff. That's my buddy. We used to work together there. Dan from Detroit, Michigan. Sandra, Shelby Township. Hey, Sandra. Anthony Diaz from Florida. Rodney from BK, is that New York? Francis from Michigan. Hey, I'm Michigan people. We're excited about that 50 degrees we got today, right? Michelle Trapp from Columbus, SC, used to live in Charlotte. Luciano from Romania. Nice, welcome. Did I miss anybody? Calvin, San Diego. Michelle says, Charlotte. All right, like that energy. Elvis says, really a New Yorker. All right. Cool. So let's get into the content. We got a ton of people in here, and so everyone should be able to see my screen. So here's the thing. Tonight, I thought I was going to have like this really flashy presentation, but I decided to just, if it's all right with you, I just want to keep it real. I just want to break down how the software works, how professionals scan the market. So I got my little list right here. In fact, I'm recording this on the cam, so I got my little list. And, you know, we're going to jump into how to pros find trades, why, you know, sorting by momentum gives you an edge. My favorite stock scan to find some breakout stocks, and why software can be good or bad. But I just want your permission. Can we just be laid back? Can we just be real? Can we just talk about how this thing really works? You don't need a flashy presentation. You just need the real that other traders aren't willing to share with you. If that's cool, type it in the box. Yep. Sandra says, sure. Anthony says, yep. What about the rest of you? Anthony says, yep. Kip says, do what you do. Angel says, yeah. Calvin, yes. Francis, oh. Yes, please, Dan Harkoff. Charlene Anderson says, yes. All right, cool. Yannick, welcome, Yannick. Yannick's in here, so yes. Roy says, yep. WA, at Washington. All right, cool. So, with your permission, I'm just going to do a quick intro. So, this is what we're talking about tonight, how to scan the market and how to pros find trades. In fact, I need to turn on my drawing tool real quick. Let me turn that on. And we are going to get into it. So the slideshow is over because I don't really have a slideshow for you tonight. Just in case there's some people on here that don't know who I am, I'm just going to give you a real quick intro. I started a website called thebrownreport.com. I've been trading for over 10 years. People would ask me, how am I trading or what am I trading? And I started blogging about it. People were following the blog, making money. And so I started a membership. I turned it into a membership site that I was paying other people to listen to their stuff. How come people don't pay me? So I started a membership site. I also launched a podcast, as you can see right here, which is in iTunes. So some of the stuff we do in iTunes or on the podcast that are not necessarily on the blog, but we're starting to bring the podcast over into the blog so you can check some of that stuff out. And then we wrote a course called Foundations. And I know a lot of you have taken Foundations. We got a ton of people in our Foundation private Facebook group and a lot of cool things going on over there, right? So I've been trading for a long time, and I'm not even going to bore you with that. If you made it to this webinar, you kind of already know my story. So let's get into why you came today, okay? So let's get this PowerPoint out the way, and let's bring up while we're all here, and that is you're probably wondering, how does the software work? What do we do? All this good stuff. Oh, wait, it's too big. Let me resize it here. How did it do that? Alright, so I feel like my MacBook is gonna act funny tonight, but we'll see how this turns out. Okay, Ryan, someone says, anyone having connection problems? Okay, so Ryan, the connection is fixed. Good. Alright, so I've got my little drawing tablet here. Alright, let me just draw something on the screen, make sure my tools are working. Uh-oh, I might need to get my charger out. See if the battery's like 32%. We're good. Alright, can people see me drawing on the screen? Yes. Michelle says, artist. I am not an artist, guys. So, alright, let's get into this. I know you guys are waiting, you're excited. So, I wanted to talk to you tonight. Number one, just let me rant for a minute, right? So, I'm really frustrated with the stock market and the financial industry because when I came through the ranks of learning this stuff, nobody wanted to teach me how it really works. And the people who had the knowledge, they never want to share it with you, right? Or people like me. They don't want to share it with us. They kind of want to keep it a secret. They want to, you know, you got to be part of the good old boys club to really know what's going on. So just so you know, my mission, my goal, I can't do this stuff for free, but my goal is to share this information and in the most affordable way possible, right? So I wrote Foundations course. It's a very affordable entry-level course to get familiar with the stock market. And now I'm going to take you behind the scenes. I got an options course coming out too. I'm going to make sure that's affordable. When I got started, I paid $4,000 for my first stock market course. But that's just what I had to do. I didn't even have the money. I actually applied for a credit card and put it on the credit card. But that's just what I had to do because I had to learn this, right? Then I paid another $3,000 for the software. I don't know if it's $3,000 still today. But paid $3,000 for the software, paid another $2,000 for some scans to get to do some of this stuff. So I'm going to take you straight up behind the curtains, right? Behind the scenes, no magical wand, and I'm going to show you how the professionals, I won't say they're cheating, they're just going about this thing smart. And, you know, I consider myself one of those smart people once I figured it out. So I'm going to show you how we get this thing done, all right? So let's dive into it, right? Enough of the suspense. But I want to make sure this is affordable. So this is a free webinar. Obviously, there's no pitching tonight. So if you're wondering, is there going to be a sale at the end, or do I have to get my credit card out? The answer is no. Okay, this is just me giving you some hot, free content and how this stuff really works, okay? So let's dive into it. So you're looking at my screen right now. A lot of you in my private Facebook group, you're asking, like, how do I find trades? How do I find stocks to trade, okay? So you can find it one of two ways, right? You can watch the news, you can read the newspaper, you can buy the IBD paper, the Wall Street Journal, stuff like that. That's not what the professionals do. So what we do is we scan the market for certain trade setups. So let me first show you how this works. So if you're looking at my screen, I have like all symbols right here. But you guys know that we trade off the S&P 500, right? So let's look at the S&P 500. Let me bring my symbol chart over here. And then SPX. Alright. So, and you guys in my private Facebook group, you know we talked about this in the last video I put in there, right? So, we're looking at the S&P 500. First of all, we saw resistance up here, and up here. So the average person was probably buying in this area when you should have just been waiting. Because now we're getting this nice little pullback. You know what? I don't even think my chart is now updated. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me see if I can update this really quick. I'm still going to talk while it's updating, but let me. This should be well, maybe this is updated. Wait. Bear with me here. Let me throw on my floating price tips. And then let me see what that day is. Oh, that's today. March 12th. Oh, it is updated. Alright, never mind. Alright, so let me abort this update. Get that out the way. Alright, so we got the market pulling back. And then, so look at today's date, right? So today it was bullish. And this isn't about the overall stock market, but I got to explain this so you understand what I'm about to show you, right? So today was a bullish day. But how do you, so look at this, it was bullish because this is, this is sell off, did nothing there, bearish, right? And then today it's like, oh, nice little bounce, increase in volume. So you as a beginner trader, how do you know what stocks were on the move today? Well, you probably are going to take all day and night looking for this. The professionals, here's what we do. So we go over here to where you see my mouse at. Let me circle it on the screen. See where my mouse is at? What I do at night is I go find the S&P. I'm going to go through some of these scans too, so don't worry. Let me give you a full 45 minutes to an hour of just good stuff. I'll go right down here to the S&P 500. I'll sort by cash flow, which is going to tell me, which ones were the big players today. Then I can just go through the scans and I can see who bounced today, like who were the major players in the S&P 500, right? So look at Apple. So it's going to tell me Apple kind of bounced. We were talking about this. We were looking at it bouncing off the 50-day moving average and kind of got a kiss right off of it, right? I'll go through and say who was next. Citigroup, but I don't really like this chart, right? Here's why. Thing did kind of a doji right there. So I go down to Wells Fargo. Not bad, but I don't know if I like the pattern. It's kind of, wild looking. All right, let me go to Disney. All right, I like that move on Disney today. So what I'll do is I'll come to a flag Apple. I'll drop a check mark in and I'll flag Disney. So I don't even want to analyze if I'm going to buy them or not. I'm just scanning the market right now. Ooh, look at this. MYTL. They had a big day yesterday and another big day today. Might be something I want to look at. What's going on with that company? So DG, look at ABBV. I like this kind of W pattern that's forming off, this support, close to the support level right here. So I might flag that and say, all right, let me look at that. We'll go through ACT. All right, so this stock I like. Why? It's in the uptrend. Oops, I drew that on the wrong line. So this one I kind of like just by looking at it, just because I like the fact that it's in a nice uptrend. And then it had nice little bullish day today, right? So we might look at that. We'll say Amazon. Okay. So basically, guys, we can just go through JP Morgan, AXP. I don't know how I feel about AXP. What is this? American Express. Zoom out, look real quick. So the point is, I can scan straight through the S&P 500 and sort by momentum and see, we're at a quick glance, are these anybody I want to play with today, right? So only the flag ones I like so far. Give me 1 second, guys. I got to turn the heat on. All right, sorry about that. I'm back. I'm shivering while I'm talking to you. Not good. All right, so can you see how we can just scan? Okay, now that was a nice one. PNC Bank had a nice little gap up and on a high volume, right? So this is how I quickly scan the S&P 500 and see what's going on with the S&P 500. But that's just one scan. Let me go. Now that was showing which stocks did well today in the bounce. Now, if you're watching me on the screen, I'm going to change the sort of cash flow and switch it back to negative. So does everybody see this negative 164 million, whatever this is up there? Can you type in the box if you see that? Roy says yes. All right. Rooney, yes. Dan, yes. All right. So notice this number is negative, right? Francis says yes. All right. So here's how I quickly switch and look for bearish trades. So now that I'm into negative cash flow, I'm looking to see who did not participate in today's rally. So, okay, Intel did not participate. Look at this volume, and it sold off today. Okay, Microsoft did not participate. Qualcomm did not participate. CNX participated, but it sold off. So this can confuse some people. Even though it closed higher than it opened, it still closed lower than the previous day. So that's bearish to me. CHK didn't participate. So now, listen to me closely. Listen to me very, very closely. Let me go back to the S&P 500 because this is how the professionals get it done. So if the S&P 500 is pulling back right now, maybe before today or even today, if you're thinking like, I want to be bullish once it gets near this level of support down here, by shorting this and saying which stocks didn't participate in the rally today, we can find the weak stocks that we can play to the downside. So another way to put it, if the S&P shows any other weakness, would you agree that the stocks that didn't go up when it went up today will probably fall even harder or even faster if the S&P sells off tomorrow or continues to pull back because these stocks didn't rise when it had a bullish day today? Does that make sense? So type that in the box if that makes sense. I want to make sure this is, that analogy makes sense to you because if not, I'll say it a different way. Yep, everybody's saying, yeah, all right. So, Rooney says one more time. So, Rooney, basically, we looked at the S&P 500. Let me go back to the S&P 500. So the first way we sorted it was to look for bullish stocks by positive cash flow. Well, then we flipped it and sorted it by negative cash because, in my opinion, the market is still pulling back. I don't want to get faked out by one good day and then it possibly sells off more tomorrow. Like, this is not a support area, so I want to see if it comes back down here. If it's going to sell off some more, what stocks have a better chance of selling off? Well, these stocks do because they sold off even when the S&P 500 had a good day. So these stocks are in the S&P 500 as denoted by, we're inside the top 500, the 500 stocks that are in the S&P 500. And then I quickly flipped the scan to see which ones were negative on the day. Okay? So I quickly want to see which ones are negative on the day. And I see you guys said what software is this? It's Trade Navigator. I'll post it in the links after this webinar. Also give you a link for a free trial if you want a trial. I'm not affiliated with the company. I did talk to them and say, hey, my students might be wanting to use this stuff. What can we, can we give them a free trial and stuff like that? So we'll post all that. But point is, we get to sort it and then see which ones were bearish today, even though the overall market was bullish. So I can go sort like that. Let me take you through some more scans. So that's quickly how we get through this stuff, right? How else do you get through 500 stocks? I mean, I'm going through this really quick. I'm just scrolling through, looking. Do I see anything interesting? Do I see anything I like? No, don't like that. Nope, don't like that. Okay, that might be interesting. This one, I don't really see anything I like. So quickly scanning. Now, let's go back up here. One of my favorite scans is Momentum Today. So this is a scan, that's why it says J, Momentum Today. Now, this has absolutely nothing to do with the S&P 500. This is just me saying what stocks were in momentum today. And notice down here, it was 190 stocks that came up in my momentum scan. Now, I'm not going to get into what goes into the scan. Like, there's a lot of stuff, right? Like cash flow. Is it optionable? Does it trade more than 500 shares a day? Like 100,000. There's some criteria that goes into the scan. But this isn't about like writing scans. This is just about how professionals come in here and get it done while you're at home kind of scratching your head. Like, how did they know that these stocks were in momentum today? So if I click on all the momentum stocks, notice Disney comes up again, even though it was in the S&P 500 scan. Charter Communications came up. And notice over here, look at these big movements on the momentum stocks that were in momentum today. Big movement there, big movement in volume. So this is how the professionals kind of cheat. We come in here and we scan and say, what was working today? Amazon was up. Okay. Home Depot was a momentum stock. Netflix had a little momentum, but I don't like that chart. ENDT did, right? So SLXP. Google, right? But just because Google's in the momentum stock doesn't mean it necessarily moved in a position that we want to take advantage of. Kroger did. Now look at Kroger. It's already in an uptrend, and then look at today's momentum. Right now, this may be something I'll look at for tomorrow, right? So here's what I want you to get. If the market's bullish, I want to come in here and run me a scan for what was the most bullish today, what's moving, and I can just quickly just keep scanning through these really quickly and say, all right, which ones do I like? Which ones were in momentum? This one doesn't look bad. Oh, I like this one. I can see a flag pattern. I don't know if you guys can see this flag pattern, but I see it. Let me draw it out for you. Once you do this enough, you start seeing these patterns. Here's your flagpole right here, and then there's your flag pattern right there. And this is the breakout today. Now, if I put the moving averages on this, I'm almost 100% guaranteed this is going to be bouncing off the moving average. Let's test it. Bam. Bouncing right off the 10-day moving average, right? So that's how I'll quickly scan a stock with the naked eye. I'll switch and see, do I like it on moving averages? Do I see a pattern? Maybe throw the Bollinger bands on it real quick. All right, it's possibly going to pop out of the upper Bollinger band. I'm doing all this in a matter of seconds, guys, and then I'm on to the next stock, right? So this is how professionals get it done fast. They get it done quick. They know exactly what they're looking for because there's scans and different things like that that's going to tell them what they're looking for. So I'm not going to go through all 190 of these, but I just want you to see how quickly you can find these stocks and then capitalize on them or start to formulate a game plan for tomorrow and say, how do I want to play this stock? Or I'm looking for bearish stock. How do I want to play those? See, here's another one. You guys see the flag pattern on this Humana stock? And there's the flag, buyout. And then there's the breakout. Now, if I switch this again, I guarantee it's going to be bouncing off the moving average. You guys think that's a coincidence, or is that a pattern that I know about called a flag pattern, right? That's called a continuation pattern where a little bit of a pullback retracement, and then you pounce on it right at one of the moving averages. Now, it doesn't always happen, but when it does, it's very powerful. But I see that without the moving averages on it. I see it on the naked chart. But that came up in our momentum scan today, so that might be a stock I might look to trade. I already had this flag, too. That might be a stock that I'm looking to trade tomorrow. Let me do a pulse check in the room. Is this making sense? Is this exciting stuff? Go ahead and type in the chat box for me there. Star says yes. All right. Angel says yes. Lucian, yes. Tommy, good. Dan, yes. Roy, Rule, Charles. Ryan says, which moving averages do you prefer? Ryan, I would answer that, but I don't want to jump too deep into technicals. I'm just going to keep it on the software for now. But maybe a little bit follow-up webinar about technicals. All right. Sharif's following so far. All right. Cool. So Costco, John, how do you get all those symbols in there? Jonathan, the software scans the market, and if it fits the criteria, it puts these symbols in there for me. So professional grade software goes out and finds trades that you're looking for based on criteria. Now, you don't just get to buy the software and it just works. You have to load the criteria. You have to say, and it comes with some preset ones, but you have to say, I've been watching this so long, I need to find a stock that does this amount of volume, bounces off the moving averages, does that. You have to come in here and write it into the scan, or you have to pay for someone to write it in the scan for you. Hopefully that makes sense. Does that make sense, Jonathan? Sar says, no, that's advanced. It is advanced, right? I mean, that's why I don't open up webinars with this, and then people get overwhelmed, right? But this is like the next level. So there's levels to this trading stuff. You took foundations, you got a basic understanding, then like this is like more advanced stuff. So Jeff, yeah, it is probably overwhelming. This is an advanced webinar, right? We're not even explaining what you're seeing because I'm assuming you took foundations and you get that stuff. This is just how professionals get in and get it done. All right, so back to the charts. Back to the charts. All right, now let me show you. I need to understand, does anyone in here trade Bollinger Bands? Is anybody familiar with Bollinger Bands? Does anybody trade Bollinger Bands? If you trade Bollinger Bands or you don't, just kind of type it in the box there. Roy says, what are the settings? Roy, it would take me hours to explain one setting in here. Anthony says he looks out. My buddy Mark Stingle says Penn City. And me and Mark, when we worked together, we used to look at Bollinger Bands all day. So it's exciting to see my buddy Mark in here. Sandra says she looks out on Yannick says a little bit. All right. So let me show you guys something, all right? So a Bollinger Band, if you can find a stock that's breaking out of a Bollinger Band, it's a good chance that it's going to run. So back to the screen, I'm going to show you a scan I created called a Bollinger Band. Let me see, where is it at? Not the squeeze pet play. It's called Bollinger Band Breakout, okay? So I got two here. There's Bollinger Band Breakout, and then there's Bollinger Band Breakout Low Price. Ooh, we'll talk about that one in a second. In the Bollinger Band scan, so notice there's 50 stocks down here in this scan. What this will allow me to do, I can come in here and see any stock that broke out of the Bollinger Band today according to the criteria that I set. Alright, so now let me put the Bollinger Bands on. And I'm going to go through all 50, just so you guys have them. I'm not going to hold anything back. So notice Disney's in there. All right. Look at that one, baby. MYL. So these blue lines are the Bollinger Bands. I'm not going to go through what the Bollinger Bands are, but they're bands that basically measure momentum. And when the stock breaks out, whether it's up or breaks down, there's usually a lot of momentum going behind that. So just by coming into this scan, I can see every stock that broke out of a Bollinger Band, and I can get set up tomorrow to say, do I think it's going to move higher? How far do I think it can go? Did it break out on high volume? I can just quickly scan the market and go through all of these. So I'll go through, I'll look at these, and then here's what I do with these, guys. Just so, you know, I'm going to give you my complete game plan. Here's what I do with these. I'll say, all right, this one I like, this one I like, this one I like. Let's just say. Then I'll right-click. I'll add these to my group, and I'll call these, I'll come in here and go J Squeeze Play. So what it does is it adds these stocks to a watch list called Squeeze. Then I'll save it. So I'll just go through and just say, who do I like? I don't like that one because it wasn't a big breakout. You see how that was kind of a little breakout? I'm going through. I don't really like, oh, that's not a bad one, right? Sunset Trust, alright. Flag that one, pretty good one. ST, I like that breakout because it's been in a tight Bollinger Band range. So let me back this up a little bit. You see how when it comes into this really tight range, like it did, let me see which colors. See, I was in this really tight range, and then, bam, this thing broke out. Came into this really tight range, pulled back, bam, then broke out. Well, what is it doing again? Coming into this really tight range, pulling back, bam, getting ready to break out. So I like this one because that pattern is consistent. So this is one I would probably trade. I mean, no, I shouldn't say that. If you were going to trade this one, this is a good candidate, all right? Trading involves real risk, and this is not advice, but I'm just telling you how I look at these things. So that's one I would definitely flag. This one I don't like as much. It's kind of sloppy, didn't really break out. SFT, ooh, okay. Now look at this one. Really tight range here. Let me change to the green market. Really tight Bollinger Band range, squeeze. And then look how this thing popped out of the top. Now this stock could have the potential to run, you know, as high as $80 here. And you're able to catch it on, here's the key here, the first day of the breakout. Why? Because the scan allowed me to come find this stock on the first day that it breaks out. It's not good, it's not enough to find this 2-3 days later when the stock is way up here. You're like, I missed it. But this scan shorts with stuff that's breaking out today, so I can find this today. I could have, if I ran the scan before the market closed, I could have got on it before the market closed and been in it, you know, as of, you know, 3:59 today or something like that. So the key here is you can come in here, you can scan the market, you can find these breakout stocks. Oh, look at that one. Let me go to this one. HIG. So look at that. Look at the tight squeeze in here. And then, bam, this thing broke out today. Would it be powerful if you can find stocks that are breaking out and moving like this? Type in the chat box. Does that make sense? If you can find stocks that break out and are moving quick, I'm just saying, would that not help you trading if you can find some stock that's moving? Absolutely. But the professionals don't want to show you this stuff, right? They say, oh, it's hard. I don't know how you're going to find all those stocks. Just give your money to me. I'll do it for you, blah, blah, blah. But if you know how this stuff works, you can do what they do. All right. So Dan says, sign me up, right? So this is some of the stuff that we do in our private coaching session that is also going to be coming out. And here's the thing, guys. The thing about the software is you still need to know what to look for and what not to look for. It's like having a race car. Just because you drive a Ferrari doesn't make you Jeff Gordon or Danica Patrick. You know what I'm saying? Like, the car can do 200 miles an hour, but do you know how to handle it going into a 90-degree, I don't know, a half-moon curve without running into the wall? So it's not just about the software, but it's about you as a trader really understanding what it can do and how to find this stuff. Now, let me show you guys another cool trick. Jonathan said, will we be able to review this webinar? I'm recording it, so as long as the software and everything is working right, I'll post a replay, so sure. So here's another thing though, right? So, alright, so you see these stocks that are breaking out today. That's exciting. Let me give you one more advanced level tip. The next level of advanced tip, how do you find these even before, so let me pull up HIG again. So, okay, so HIG broke out today, right? Here's the new question. So here's how I think as a trader. How do I find this stock before today even happens? How do I find that before this even happened? Well, the key is you have to write a scan. You have to write a scan that can tell you when it's in a really tight Bollinger Band range like this. So how do I find it when it's in this little range before this right here happens? So let me show you this cool scan I wrote. I wrote a scan. If you're looking at the screen, I wrote a scan called Brown Squeeze. I think it's Brown Squeeze or J Squeeze. Okay, J Squeeze. No, these are the stocks that I watch. Add to the watch list. So let me go These are Bollinger Band breakout. Okay, I wrote a scan called Brown Squeeze, and I wrote a mid price, low price, high price. So it depends on how much money I feel like putting into the market. High price is going to be stocks that are $60 and higher. Mid price are going to be stocks that are $30 to $60, and then low price are stocks that are, I think, $10 to $30. So let me do low price. Let me go through low price for you. So there's 109 stocks in this scan that are squeezing. So what do I mean by squeezing? I'll go through this scan and I'll look for stocks that have not broken out today. Now, because it's low price, some of these scans are like whack, but sometimes you'll find some good ones. So let me just keep going. Well, let me go back to that one. This one may be a candidate. Notice how it hasn't broke out yet. So remember that flag pattern I taught you about where, well, this isn't a true flag, but let me show you it. So it's kind of, there's your flagpole, there's your pullback. We're waiting for that big candlestick like that to come happen, right? So this may be a potential candidate. I'll put the moving averages on it. Bam, notice it's bouncing right off that moving average right there. So it's a potential candidate for a breakout, which would look like, so it hasn't broken out yet, but it's a candidate. It could break out. So I might flag that and put it on my watch list. Let's keep going through some. This one's I don't like this one. Why? Because the stock's in a downtrend. You can see it. In a downtrend. I'm not looking to trade a breakout stock on a stock that's trading down, so we'll throw that one out. That's a potential candidate, right? Look at this thing. It looks like he wants to go pop out of that band. If you and the stock symbols are right here, guys. If you're wondering, like, what stock is that? So it's NVAX, and then over here you can see it again, NVAX. So I know some of you might be like writing this down quick, but this is a great candidate. And look at this stock. It's only $9. If this thing, look at what happened when it broke out back here. So let me change my marker to green. Look at what happened in this area when it was a tight squeeze, and then bam, that's your breakout day. Would you have loved to caught this at $6.83? And since then, it's ran up to almost $9.80 cents. How would you like to make $3 on that stock? So if you had, I don't know, 1,000, what is this stock? $6. 1,000 shares would be $6,000, right? And then it ran up to here, and now you made about $3,000. All right, maybe you don't have $6,000. What if you cut that in half and you bought 500 shares? Would it be cool to put $3,000 to work and make $1,500? I know some people who wait all year for tax returns for that type of money. And you did it with this one trade from January to February. Look, the date is right here, down here at the bottom. January is when it broke out, January 20th. Right here, you can see February 20th or somewhere around there is where it did. So it's like $1,500 for a month's worth of work if you had $3,000. Let's cut that $3,000 in half. What if you only have $1,500? Then you would have made about $750. I think that's the math, right? So anyway, you can slice it how you want, and that's not even trading options. We're not even talking about options. But that's the power of being able to scan for some low price stocks that are in a squeeze, getting ready to break out. Let me go to my high price ones though, because you usually find some really good candidates in there. All right, so notice in the high price scan, there's only 42 symbols. So these will be quick to go through. So TNA is a potential breakout candidate. It looked like it's ready to shoot for the stars, had decent momentum today. Look at JP Morgan. So that's not a good candidate because it's not in a good squeeze. It's like loosey-goosey in there. Not a good candidate. Possible candidate, but that's the spiders. That's not an actual stock. Starbucks. Okay. Here's what see how that's a tight squeeze in there? That's not a bad candidate because look what happened last time it was in the squeeze. The thing broke out. So let's see if we can't get a breakout again. And what I do is when I find a good candidate, what I do is I come in here and I say, set me an alert right here. So I tell the computer to tell me if this stock breaks out. So the moment it touches 95 bucks, my phone is going to go off and ring, and I'm going to look at it. If my phone never goes off, I never come back and look at this stock. I move on to the next one. I go to, ooh, now look at lows. I like this. This is a decent little squeeze. And look back here just to get an idea of what happens during the squeeze. See how it's really tight? And then bam, broke out, and this thing just never really came back. Same thing, right? Where it's at right now, potential tight squeeze, looking for my breakout. So lows might be one, a good one to look at. And then AMT, I don't know what this is, but sitting right at the top of the Bollinger Band, potentially ready to break out. You kind of eat off. No. My awesome wife in the background, controlling the heat. You probably seen it on camera. Alright, so look at this one. The Bollinger Band back on Expedia. It's kind of loose, not really, but it is bouncing off this support line right there. Alright, so let me check the pulse of the room. Is this Bollinger Band stuff kind of cool? How to find stocks that are in a squeeze? That way, before it breaks out, you find them before they break out. Is that cool or what? Anthony says yes. Jonathan, yes. Roy, yes. Elvis, yes. Dan Hartcall says yes. Yannick says, but even the price is not on the support. You buy stock that the Bollinger Band breakout. So Yannick, yes, there's two different styles of trading, right? So like there's trading off supports and resistance, and then there's trading breakout stocks. Like those are two totally different mindsets. So yes, that has nothing to do with really support and resistance. I'm looking for the Bollinger Band becomes a support and resistance because it's channeling in between the Bollinger Band, and once it breaks out, I'm looking for the breakout, right? So I know it's a little bit advanced, right? But you got to understand the foundation first, which is, most of you took foundations, you got a good understanding. That's how to trade support and resistance trends, but this is trading breakout stocks, so that's a whole nother practice. But I'm just want to show you how the professionals can quickly find these breakout stocks while you're sitting there and scratching your head, like, where in the world did they get this trade from? So what else did I say? All right, so let me transition into why this could be good or bad for you. Then I'll open it up to Q&A. So why could this be good or bad, right? So using pro software, I already showed you the pros of it, right? You can scan the market, you can find these trades quick, you can set your alerts and get notified. So I mean, if I just put this little 45 minutes or hours into the market every night, I can go on about my business the rest of the week because I got the stocks I want to watch, I got the breakouts, I know who's moved today and who I'm going to watch tomorrow. Boom, I'm off to the races to do my thing. That's the positive side of it. The negative side of it is it can be overwhelming, right? If you're new or, hopefully you're not brand new if you're on the webinar, but even if you are, this could be overwhelming, like scanning the market, Bollinger Bands, moving average. I don't even know what I'm looking at. For you should go back and take the foundation course. But for those who start to look like, once you have a good foundation of reading stock chart, now you're trying to figure out how do I speed up the process? How do I find these trades faster? How do I find breakout stocks? That's kind of where scanning the market comes in. But you got to have a solid foundation of what you're even looking at. Now, here's the negative of it. If you start using software and things like that out the gate, you never really get an appreciation for what you're looking for, and then you start to give the software more credit than it deserves. I'm going to tell you, the real asset is me, the person. It's you. The asset is the person using the software because I know what I'm looking for. And most of the stocks I saw on the screen, I knew what I was looking for before we even put the moving averages and the indicators on it because I see it with the naked eye. And that's the power position, not the software. When you know what you're looking for, then the software just can help you find it faster. So I hope that makes sense. Charlotte says I'm going to have to take the foundations course, although I'm understanding what I'm looking at. Yeah, check out the foundations course. We got a private Facebook group where you can ask questions and all that stuff. So before I open it up to questions, guys, when we get ready to open our private coaching membership again, back up to the public, this is the stuff we're going to go through once a week for an hour. We're going to go through the scans. We're going to look at what's moving, what's not moving, and we're going to look at, what stocks are we going to buy, which ones we're going to set alerts for, which ones are breaking out, which ones are breaking out but still not a good stock to trade. That's the stuff I want to walk you through in the private coaching session for those once it opens, for those who are interested, for those who are ready for that type of level of coaching. Because I know people have been asking for it, and it's coming soon. And you can see I got a ton of scans to go through. I couldn't even get through them all in this webinar, but you're looking at my screen. I got my breakouts. I have all my indices, my squeeze plays, my momentum low price. So for those of you who have like a small bank account, we got some low price trades. We got our moving averages crossing. We have 30% jump in volume. I mean, there's a ton of stuff in there. I got my Bollinger Band breakouts. And most of the professionals, they're not going to show you this stuff. They're not going to take you behind the scenes and be like, here are the scans I have. Because they don't want you to know this stuff. That's the bottom line. They don't want you to know this stuff. And it's always like a secret society when it comes to the stock market. But my goal is to bring this to mainstream, show you the secret, and obviously my time isn't free. I can't do these all the time for free, but I like to throw a free one out there and just pull back the curtain and show you how this stuff really works, and then bring it to you at an affordable price. So let's open it up for questions for the next, few minutes. What questions do you guys have? Is there a stock you're trading you want to see me run through in the software? What questions you got? Angel says, how much time a day do you spend scanning the market? Literally like we did now, about an hour, because I know how to just quickly go through it, see what I'm looking for, flag them. I might shoot over to like the Options Express or something to see what the options cost on them, see how much I'd pay to get in the trade. Am I going to do an option? Am I going to do a covered call? Whatever my strategy is. But this is it. This is what I'm giving you a scaled down version, but sometimes I look at the cash flow. I see if earnings are going to come out. Like I do check some things, but I scan, flag them, run them through my checklist that you guys got in Foundation, and then I get ready to place my trades tomorrow. So about an hour. I don't do this every night because if I find some good trades tonight, I might not scan again tomorrow. I'm just going to look at the trades I've already flagged. So Angel, hopefully that answers your question. Let me see what else is there in there. We were going so quick. Jonathan says, how do you, how do you know when to get out of a trade? Well, Jonathan, first of all, I look for support and resistance, and I say, okay, where's support, where's resistance? If it hits this level, I'm right. If it doesn't, I'm wrong, and I better get out quick. So, let me look at Expedia, for example. If you're looking at my screen, this is one we covered. I think I did a free video or something on this. So if I'm calling this blue line support right here, Jonathan, I'm going to buy today or tomorrow. The market's closed. I can't buy today. If this bullish candlestick holds tomorrow, I'm going to buy the stock. But here's where I'm wrong at. So I'll tell myself I'm wrong somewhere down here. Because the whole premise of me buying this was that it bounced today. So if I'm wrong, I need to be out right here. So I need to lose about, if I get in tomorrow at like 92 and get out down here at 88, that's a $4 hit. But that's not that much if it's an $80 stock. I mean, $4 on an $80 stock, that's just, it's just the cost of doing business. But I want to be wrong right here around, $80, I mean, then be wrong down here somewhere at like 78. Now I'm praying to the stock market, guys, please let it go back up. So, I mean, that's one way I look at it. If it's a Bollinger Band, it's a little bit different, but that's just kind of a cut and dry way of how I know I'm wrong. You should be, foundations is a checklist. Fill out that checklist. Says, where's your I'm wrong level? Elvis says, so you have to upload your own tickers? No, I don't upload my own tickers. The software has, let me see, if I look at the screen, I'm going to go to all symbols. Okay, the software has 8,457 symbols loaded, alright? So I don't have to load anything. I can just go through all 8,500 symbols, but that's a waste of time. I don't want to go through 8,000 symbols. I want to find out what's moving today, what's breaking out of the S&P 500, what's popping out of the Bollinger Band. I'm just going straight to what matters. I don't care about 8,400 stocks. For my Forex people, if I want to trade Forex, I'll just drop it down and go look at the Forex charts. And I will look at those and see what's happening in the Forex. It's only 89 stocks in the Forex, right? So, no, I'm not loading my own symbols. It just goes out and scans and brings me back the best one. So, no. So hopefully that answers your question, Dave Ellis. All right. Elvis, my buddy Dave Ellis. My wife is correcting me. So sorry. Hardcock says, how much do you put into creating your scans? I took a couple courses on scan writing, and then you basically have to look at the chart there, and then you have to translate that into the language. So if I'm looking for a Bollinger Band breakout, or if I'm looking for something to touch off a moving average, I have to say, if X is greater than 20 past 5 days, less than 10, equals stock equal American market plus today equals 100 watts. So it's like writing a math equation, man. I know that sounded weird, but you kind of have to, if you don't like math, you're not going to like writing scans. That's like super duper advanced. But you can buy scans, but most of the time they sell them for like $2,000, $3,000. You can buy them. I don't sell any scans right now, but that's something I might do in the future. But, it's so much basic stuff to learn. So, Asar says, do you recommend TradingView? I don't know what TradingView is, Asar, so no, I don't recommend it. I'm trying to get to these questions as they keep jumping around, so sorry. I need to find a better process of taking questions. I'm trying to read it, so bear with me. Jeff says, how long did it take? Wait. Mm-hmm. Jeff says, how long did it take for you to get proficient? Man, I've been trading for 10 years, Jeff. I still learn something new every day. I just started writing my own scans probably in the last 3 years. So, it's like a lifelong process, right? This isn't just take a course and, you're rich tomorrow. There's always another level to this game. Jeff said, Angel says, yes, thanks. Sandra says, do you tend to choose stocks that hit more than one of the lists? No, Sandra. I focus, if I'm looking for breakouts, I only care what stocks are breaking out. If I go to momentum, I only care what stocks are in momentum, but it would make sense that a Bollinger Band breakout stock is also a momentum stock because it had to have momentum to break out of the Bollinger Band. So it might show up there. If it had momentum breaking out, it's probably going to show up in my 30% jump in volume scan. Those are just characteristics of a stock breaking out. So it'll show up in more than one scan. So that doesn't make it more probable because it's showing up in more scans. It's just hitting more than one criteria that I set up. So I hope that Sandra says she loves math. And me too. Finance major from Wayne State, but don't think you have to be a finance major to get this stuff. Alright. Kip says, is Ninja Trader a good software? It might be, Kip. I just don't have enough time to evaluate every software out there. To be honest, most software does the same thing. It's about which one you're better with, which one has a language that you can understand when you're writing scans. But, you know, this isn't proprietary to Trade Navigator, or TC2000 is another one that I like. I mean, there's a ton of software out there. Again, the software isn't the asset, it's you. All software probably has scans that you can write and code into. It's just learning. Each one has maybe a little bit different language, but you can translate the code from one package to another usually. Let me see. What criteria is volume? Sometimes on volume, I'm looking for a 30% jump. I'm looking for volume over 1 million shares in one day. So it just depends. There's a lot of criteria. One, can a person for head and can you pre-scan for head and shoulders? That's a little bit harder to scan for because a head and shoulders happens over time. So now you're scanning for something that happened at 3 different points over weeks or months. So maybe, but I'm not scanning for it. It's not even that important to scan for head and shoulders as it is more important to just recognize it. Rudy said, wow, that sounded like a mouthful. Mr. Someone talking about the scan sense. I love math. Angel says, did you learn to use the software yourself? I actually was paying. I paid a company to kind of piggyback off them. Then I got to a point where I had to learn how to write my own scans because I said there's stuff I want to find that they're not finding for me. So, I mean, I start, partnering. I start tinkering around in the back end and writing some myself. I mean, I am part of a trading group that, some other traders where we kind of share some advanced stuff, right? So, I don't just go at it alone all the time, but for the most part, it's a combination of being self-taught, paying for some scans, taking those scans and dismantling them, seeing how they wrote them, and then like playing around asking, what if I added this? What if I added that? I'm looking off to the side because that's where the questions are coming from because I'm recording this. Are there general filters that are wise to apply to all scans? Jeff, no, I can't be a little deeper on how to use volume, man, because we're almost at the end of this, and that would be like a whole nother webinar. So, unfortunately, no. But, hey, in the private coaching session, we can go over volume if you want to go over volume. Elvis says, how do you apply the Bollinger Band to your scans? Oh, well, I'd have to show you, like, kind of get all into the software, but if you look up here, I have these templates, and one of my templates is a Bollinger template, so it'll drop the Bollinger on the chart like you just saw. I got a template that's for moving averages, so I'll go up to that template. And then notice down here it has different, I might have a template that says default. My default template has nothing on it because I like for it to just be clean. I just like it to be clean and have volume. So you can build your own template too. Chaos says this is very useful. Rooney says cost of the software. When I bought it, I think I paid $3,000. I paid like $2,000 for some scans. So I paid like $5,000. I think the platinum package is like $2,000, something like that. I paid, how much did I pay a month? 30, 40 bucks, something like that. You have to pay for a data feed too. So you have to pay for a monthly data subscription, and that can get up to like $100 depending on if you're scanning for Forex, if you want like streaming charts and some other stuff. So that's how it works. All right. So before we get ready to end this, was this helpful, guys, to kind of just get a good idea of how people scan the market, how this stuff kind of works, what goes on behind the curtain? It says yes, sir. Good. Angela Clark says, yes, Curb, Anthony. Awesome. Cool. I got one more question, so hopefully you guys don't leave that. I got one more question. After completing the basics course, how do fees work for coaching? Jonathan said, yes, this is good. Awesome, guys. I do want to ask you guys this real quick. I'm in the middle of releasing two things, right? It's like, do I release coaching next or do I release options? How many of you are more interested in learning options or being part of the weekly 1-hour group coaching webinars? Look at the options coming through. It said depends, and a lot of options. Coaching, hard to decide. Both. I know, right? It just helps me determine where to focus my time, because I got the options course half recorded, but if I release coaching first, it may take options longer to go out. Angela says being new, I say coaching. Monty says options. Okay, cool. I appreciate the feedback, because maybe I'll release coaching to a private group and then finish options. We'll see. All right. And the coaching. So I heard an overwhelming response for options, but definitely a few coachings in there. All right. So awesome, guys. Well, here's the thing. We're getting ready to wrap up. I appreciate you joining me. I'll send out an email. If you're on my email list, I'll send out an email to kind of dive more deeper into what you guys are looking to learn. If you're looking for coaching, if you're looking at options, I'll try to segment those looking for coaching, and maybe we can launch something for a beta group for group coaching. And then my goal is to get that options course out there, because with that options course, ooh, baby, you can like really power up on some of these trades. And then when you mix foundations with understanding options, with us getting together once a week for an hour, looking for the trades and breaking it down, and then talking about which options are even the best ones to play, I believe we all can make some money together and make you feel really confident about trading in the stock market. Hey, I'm going to post a replay. If you know somebody who'll be interested in this, watching the replay, I'm going to send you an email, and the replay is going to come out. Monty says, same thing, can keep your powder dry? I don't even know what that means. But okay, I'll keep my powder dry. I appreciate you guys. Oh, money. That means money? That sounds good. We'll like to keep this going. We'll sign up for some basics. Yeah, if you don't have the basics, check out the foundations course. Because when I release coaching, I'm not going to be going over the basics. I'm going to assume you have a solid foundation on that, but we will cover some option stuff maybe in the coaching. So thanks. You know somebody who want to watch this, look for the email. I'll send the replay out. Charlene says, how much is the basics? Just go to powerstocktrades.com. Charlene, it's an awesome course over there, and you can check out the pricing, the modules, everything that you get there. Elvis, thank you. Thanks for attending. Tip, thanks for attending. I appreciate you guys, and we go have an awesome 2015. Thanks for spending an hour or so with me. Have a great night. Bye.